Welcome to the Empowerment Hour, a podcast dedicated to the woman ready to take charge of her life, live in her purpose, and be unapologetically authentic. I am your host, Nancy Ruffin, award-winning author, mommypreneur, and the self-proclaimed Latina Oprah who is dedicated to helping women unleash their power, discover their purpose, and live up to their fullest potential. My goal is to empower you, inspire you, and help you unlock your passions and discover your purpose so that you live the most fulfilled and impassioned life. If you're ready to make a change and start living on purpose, then you're in the right place. Let's get started. Hey guys, it's your girl Nancy Ruffin, and we are finally back after a short hiatus for another episode of your favorite podcast, The Empowerment Hour. And I have to tell you guys, it feels really great to be back. As most of you know, I had a death in the family a few weeks ago, and that coupled with all of the natural disasters that have been happening across the world, specifically for me in Puerto Rico with Hurricane Maria. It was very personal because I still have family on the island, and it was a matter of days that we hadn't heard from them after the hurricane had made landfall. So for the past few weeks, it's been really tough on me emotionally and spiritually. And so I hadn't really been in any condition to work. I just felt that it was inappropriate to record a podcast, to do anything that really wasn't focused on the relief and humanitarian efforts for Puerto Rico and all of the devastation that they've experienced and are still experiencing. I mean, there's still a large percentage of the island without power, without clean water. Many of the homes have been destroyed, so there are people still living out of shelters. It's just been really, really rough. And in the midst of that, then I had the unexpected death of my uncle, who was an extremely integral part of my life. So dealing with that loss has not been easy. So I was really giving myself some time, I guess, to grieve that loss, and to also deal with everything that was happening in Puerto Rico. But I told myself after we buried my uncle that I had to push past the grief, right? And this is one of the things that I talk a lot about in the work that I do with women, because life happens, right? And in spite of our best intentions, in spite of the fact that we want to always give 110% of ourselves, we always want to stay focused, we always want to be working towards those goals and those dreams, sometimes life knocks the shit out of us, and we really have to take a step back and allow ourselves to feel that hit, right? And so that was what I was doing. But I also recognized that there is just a certain amount of time that we can sit in our shit, sit in our grief, and before we have to push ourselves and get back up, right? Because I'm not telling you to not deal with the emotions that we go through when life, hits us, or when we're going through difficulties, but we have to also push ourselves past the pain so that we can come out on the other side, right? Because there is light at the end of that dark tunnel. And so in life, we always have two choices, right? We can either sit in the muck, we can sit in the pain, or we can choose to push past it and rise above it and grow from that. And so by no means am I over the death of my uncle. By no means am I okay with the efforts in Puerto Rico and how it's been handled, how the president is consistently tweeting bullshit and nonsense and demoralizing us as a people and as an island. I mean, I'm not past any of that. But what I realize is that I have to continue to live my life. I have to continue doing this work that I do, not only for you guys, but for myself. Because the only way we can truly affect change is by getting to work, right? And by being our best selves and by making sure that we're okay spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically, right? And by sitting in our pain and by allowing ourselves to just feel sorry for ourselves, that's not going to cut it, guys. So, whatever trials and tribulations you may be going through right now, give yourself a certain amount of time to go through that. And then also give yourself a cutoff point where you say to yourself, okay, after this date, that's it. I'm getting back to my normal life and I'm just going to go all in. And that was what I did after we buried my uncle. Like after all that was done, it was time for me to get back on my grind, get back to work, and get back to all of you because you guys all depend on me, right? And so I have a commitment that I have to show up for you. So despite what I'm going through, I have to also be mindful that I have a huge following that has expectations of me and the work that I do. So I have to show up. And so here I am this week with a brand new episode of the Empowerment Hour podcast. And I want you guys to take this episode and run with it. Tonight, I have a special guest. It's a continuation of the Passion, Purpose, Paycheck series that I've been doing. And unlike all of my past guests, this guest is a male. So I'm breaking the mold and I'm having a guy come and sit with me and talk about the work that he does. He's an entrepreneur, and he's in an industry that is traditionally not a male-dominated industry. And for this reason was why I invited him on to be a guest, because I wanted to get from a male perspective what it feels like to be in an industry where you're not the dominant gender, right? Because for us women, for us females, we know what that's like, right? Every single day we get up and we go to work, we're in male-dominated industries. So I thought that it would be great to shift the lens and really see that from a different perspective. So, ladies and gentlemen, please help me in welcoming J.Core, who is my guest for tonight. So, sit tight, grab your beverage of choice, whether it's wine, coffee, tea, and maybe a pen and paper, just to jot down some gems that I'm sure he's going to be dropping tonight. And in a few seconds, I will be patching him in, and he will be our guest, and he will be talking to us about all that he does and what it's like to be a male in this particular industry. So sit tight, we will be back soon. Hey guys, so as promised, I have Joseph with me tonight, and he is from Zen Paradise Spa. It's his own business, and as I was saying in my intro, he is a male in a female-dominated industry, and so I really wanted to bring him on to kind of talk about that and see what that looks like from a different lens, because as we all know, as women, we navigate in a male-dominated world, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how that's flipped from a male perspective. So Joseph, thank you for joining us tonight, for taking the time to be on.
Thank you for having me.
And I just really want you to introduce yourself, to my listeners. Tell us a little bit about your business and what motivated you or inspired you to get into this type of industry.
Awesome. Well, first of all, a little bit about me. I reside in Washington Heights. I've been here for about 6 years. I'm originally from the Bronx, and I'm a licensed nail technician, aromatherapy consultant, product developer, and I freelance. I'm a freelance nail artist and also a manicurist. I still have my 9 to 5, but managed to work for Marc Jacobs, a lot of different designers. Also, the person who really got me started in this industry, who gave me a really good leg up, was I'm not too sure if you ever heard of Amy Vega. She has a huge following on Instagram, and she is an awesome individual. I really respect her artistry in the nail world, and of course, she's a female. I'm a male, and we click so well.
Well, that's great. And so, that kind of leads me, because one of the things I wanted to talk about is I guess you have your 9 to 5, but at what point did you say you wanted to get into the nail industry?
Right.
Like, what was that for you?
Gotcha. I'm sure everybody knows, when your parents raise you, they're like, go to school, get a good, college degree and get a good job. And I did that. I went to school. I majored in business, and I knew I didn't feel fulfilled. I knew that I wanted to do something in the beauty industry, and I didn't know what it was. At first, I thought about, maybe doing hair. Right. And honestly, I was like, I didn't want to have to spend a whole year and a half, in
beauty school. Right.
Exactly. So I said, you know what? I said, let me do the next best thing. I'm the type of person where I love how women put their pieces together. I guess my mom, she was one of those women who always had it together. Her hair done, her nails done, her feet done, a nice outfit, always smelled good,
right,
and
right.
I love to see that. So they really got my attention. So I said, let me try this out. And I knew that I wanted to own a business because exactly that's what I went to school for, was to, own my own business. And I figured, well, let me do something that, that has something to do with the beauty industry. So, and I did. I went to school. I went back to school for 5.5 months. I got my nail license, and I created my LLC after that, which is Zen Paradise Spa, or ZenParadiseSpa.com. And that's what really pushed me. Was like I wanted to really own my own business and be my own boss. Right.
Well, how did you hook up with Amy Vega?
Believe it or not, I was actually looking, because I really wanted to get back to the community, especially in my neighborhood in Washington Heights.
Right.
So I said, well, maybe I can volunteer at, maybe a women's shelter or a senior home. And I started looking around, so I found this place called Dominican Woman Development Center. And I really didn't know too much about it. So I noticed that Amy Vega, she was one of the teachers. So I hit him up, but no one responded to me. So I said, you know what? I said, I saw Amy Vega on Instagram. I said, let me hit her up and let me know, and ask her if she needed someone to help her, run this class. They had a nail art class.
Right.
And before you knew it, she hit me back. And we started talking, and we met up for coffee at Starbucks.
Wow.
And we just hit it off from there. We just hit it off. She's amazing. And she really helped me get my start.
It's interesting that, one, you said, you reached out to them through the normal channels, right? You called them, and they never got back to you.
Right, but they never got back to me.
But you were so determined, right, to work with them in some capacity that you didn't let the fact that they didn't get back to you stop you. You figured out another way to kind of get in, and you did that. Now, when you reached out to Amy via the social media, did you think at all that she would respond to you? Because it's weird on social media. You know what I mean?
Right, right. It's so true. I didn't think that she was going to, hit me up because I saw all those following. She had like over 60,000 people following her, and I was like, well, you know what? Maybe she will, maybe she won't. But I was like, I doubt it. But I was like, I was hopeful. And then when I saw my DM, and I was like, I couldn't believe it was her. I was like, oh my God, like this is so cool. And and she was so persistent in meeting me, and and I did take I did help her with a few classes at the Dominican Women's Development Center in the Heights, and sadly they ended the program, but her and I, we still maintain being, getting closer, becoming friends.
The connection, and I talk a lot about not only connecting with people, but really creating that relationship and building the relationship, because we connect with everyone, on social media. It's as easy as just clicking that follow button and boom, you're already connected to that person. But the real connection happens when you're engaging with one another, when you're kind of communicating and all of that. And so I guess what I want to ask you, how important is it for you now, as someone who's on social media, who's in business, whose livelihood really depends on having that engagement? How important is it for you to engage and connect with the people who follow you on Instagram or on your social networks? Do you create and foster these relationships, or is it just, you're following me and that's the end of that?
No, I definitely love to keep connected with everyone who follows me and everyone that I follow. I think it's really important because you never know who you might need in the future.
Absolutely.
And for me, especially, I'm still kind of new in this industry. I'm not an expert. I don't have a storefront as of yet, so I basically freelance. So if you have an event, or if you have, a wedding, or you can always hit me up and say, hey, I'm up for hire, and you just can't do that if you don't reach out.
Absolutely.
It's really important. It's really, really important to keep in touch with those people. Like I remember on your podcast, you had the owners of Push Pedal,
right?
And I reached out to them and I said, hey, I'm a new business owner and, I don't have a storefront. Like, what do I do? And Christina, she actually put me in contact with, with people that are able to help me,
That's amazing.
And, it's so amazing. It's so amazing. So, I think it's really important to reach out to those. And, that expression, one hand washes the other.
Yes.
So I firmly, firmly believe in that, is to help other people, with anything they need.
Absolutely.
If I'm blessed with the information, I want to share it.
Absolutely. Exactly. And then that's why I do what I do, because I love what I do. I'm passionate about it. I get excited when I can help people or when I can connect people. And so I know that is what, like, my purpose, on this planet is really for that. And I do that in various ways, whether it's through my books, whether it's through this podcast. But like you, I feel strongly that we should be helping each other, right? And
Absolutely.
And for you, that you know this and that you're taking the initiative to reach out to people, I think is admirable, because I know there's so many people who are just afraid to just do that reach out. You know what I mean? Because they're scared that the other person is going to say no, or is not going to be receptive. And so I guess in a way to prevent that rejection, they don't reach out at all. But they don't realize that, by not doing that, they can really be limiting themselves from like great opportunities, right?
Of course, absolutely. And I've taken a few spin classes, which is awesome. And believe it or not, it's only 3 blocks away from my house.
Wow.
So I mean, like, just imagine. And you know what, too, Nancy? This world is such a small world.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take just one person to be successful. It's everyone could be successful with a little bit of help of somebody else, because we all become successful on each other's back.
Absolutely.
The way that the world works, I'm telling you.
No, I absolutely agree. And that's why I don't believe in the concept of competition. Like, I don't subscribe to that at all. I don't look at another woman as my competitor. I don't believe that, because I truly believe in my heart that there's enough success for all of us, even if we're all in the same industry, right? Like, there's billions of people on this planet. There's enough for all of us. You know what I mean? Even you as a nail tech, right? There's thousands of nail techs in New York City, right? I mean, but you see, everyone is busy. There's never a lack. You go to these nail salons that people are waiting. There's plenty of people, to go around.
Right. This industry is about, I was reading something, I think a magazine, a nail magazine or something, and believe it or not, it's already over $250 billion industry, and it's going to grow.
Yes.
It's going to grow. Every year it grows. So you can literally be right next door to the salon, and you still in your business.
Absolutely. I absolutely believe that. And all it really takes is that one connection that can completely catapult your career and your business into something huge. You know what I mean? Like, you can hustle and work your ass off, for 5-10 years, right? And then tomorrow someone can just walk up to you or reach out to you. It could be the biggest celebrity, whoever, right? And it'll completely take you from not really being significantly known, but to being known by everyone in the world. You know what I mean? And so people just don't believe in themselves enough, or I don't know if it's that, or if they're just not willing to be patient enough, because everyone wants the overnight success, not realizing that overnight success takes years, right, to happen. So I guess not to stray away, but for you, as a male in a female-dominated industry, can you talk about some of the struggles or obstacles that you've encountered, if you encountered any, because maybe you haven't?
Actually, I have.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I have. Just regretfully, I have to resign one of the salons that I'm working for. I actually work at a salon just once a week.
Right.
And it's a great trendy place in the village near Westport, and it's really awesome. And I'm the only male nail tech there.
Wow.
The only male nail tech. If there are another one, if there is another male tech, he might just be doing something else. And he's more like in the it's more like an artist,
right?
Like a nail artist,
right?
So, but yeah, I definitely get the little side chats from the females, who like say a few things, behind my back, and say, they'll say like, oh, let's go see what he's doing. Let's try to learn from him. Because there's this preconceived notion that a male tech does it better than a female tech. And, sometimes the female techs, they get a little,
they feel threatened.
Right, they feel threatened, and they get a little paranoid. Oh, well, I have to do better than him.
Interesting.
It's so interesting because, I mean, if you hear some females, like if you're riding the subway or the bus, and sometimes they talk about, oh yeah, my nail tech, he does such a good job. The other lady, she butchered my, what I'm saying?
Yes.
These techs know exactly what you're saying. you know, and they know how you feel. So they think, well, the nail tech is he's more better. He's faster,
Right.
stronger,
Right.
you know, especially when it comes down to pedicures. You know, they think that you're supposed to be like the Incredible Hulk.
Right, right.
You know, and get every single calorie of your foot. You know, which is just not the case. It's not the case. I mean, as far as there's a lot of women who are their artistry is amazing. Something that I could never top.
Right,
you know?
right.
It's just that, this is the reason why I wanted to, I'm glad you asked this question, because everybody, doesn't matter if you're male or female. I mean, we all have different artistic abilities.
Absolutely.
We all have strengths and we all have weaknesses, no matter if you're male or female.
Right. Listen, so how do you handle difficult customers, right? Because I'm not a difficult customer. I go get my nails done. I'm pretty easy. Just do them. I'm happy. But like my sister, who I love dearly, she is so particular when it comes to her nails. Okay. How do you deal with those types of customers who are criticizing every little thing that you might be doing?
Oh, God. I had, to be honest with you, Nancy, I had a few of those. I did have a few of those. But what I learned a really, really good trick. Explain to them exactly what you're going to do on their nails.
Okay.
Let them know if they wanted a specific design.
Right.
If they don't have the finger space.
Right.
Do not do the design. I made that mistake. Let me tell you something. This is a lesson that hopefully people will learn in anything that they do. I was very new at the salon a few months ago. I was extremely new. I wasn't even cleared to do their design.
Right.
Now, this one particular design was a lot of zigzags,
Right.
and I did her nails, and she did not like it, and she yelped it. She gave me a negative yelp.
Wow.
Yes. Mind you, I think that, we all pretty much found out that she was, what do you call those people? That she was a scout, or she was one, she was a professional reviewer, for another salon. So she was doing her undercover investigative work, but my manager and myself told her that, I wasn't cleared yet to those designs.
Right.
So I learned very quickly from that experience, if I can't do it, I'm going to tell you I can't do it. That's one.
Right. Well, that's important. I think it's important because at least then the customer knows. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're not misleading them. And I think that that's actually a great lesson that you've learned, because it keeps you honest too, and your customers will come to appreciate that. You know what I mean? That you're not just out to kind of take their money, but you're there to really do something great and provide them with great service. So that's important.
That is, it's extremely important. And you know what too, always explaining to them what you're going to do. Hey, I'm going to, use this polish this way. You don't have enough, nail to cover, this particular design. And once you're honest with them, at least they can say, even if they're persistent and want it anyway, it's like, no, I really want it. And if it doesn't come out the way that they anticipate it to, at least they'll say, oh, well, you know what, she did want it, or she did want it.
Right. You give them the option.
You give the option, because people, sometimes they have nubs, and they want, this design that's supposed to be for a really pretty long fingernail.
Right. Yes.
You just can't do it. People, they just refuse.
Oh my God, this is so funny.
I'm sorry.
No, it's hilarious.
So blunt.
No, but it's hilarious because I always, as a bystander when I'm getting my nails done, and I see these types of customers, and sometimes I feel bad for the techs, and I want to ask, but you just kind of sit there and you just let them do your own nails, and you get up and you go. So this is great.
Just at the end of the day, you want your clients to be happy. You want to satisfy them, and that's the main important thing. You want your clients to be happy, and that's why you have to be honest.
Right. Listen. So, what or who inspires Joseph?
Who inspires me? You know, I have to say Amy Vega inspires me.
Okay.
And the reason being is that she is the most humble, sweetest, talented person that I've met in this industry so far. She has definitely taken the nail industry to like a whole new level. Even like the first day that I met her, you know, she was like, "Hey, come over to my house," and you know, and she like let me polish it. And I was going to do my first freelance gig,
right?
And she helped me. You know, she prepared me and prepped me for you know, this experience. But she is, I can call her a really good friend. You know, she's an awesome individual, and without her, I don't think that I would have had the courage to even work at a salon, or or even try to do anything in the nail industry professionally, because like I didn't know any other nail techs.
Right.
I didn't know any other female techs except for my classmates. So they were just starting. So I started to think to myself, and I started to kind of tell myself, well, maybe this is not for you. Like I didn't know where to start, but she really. And the fact that when she's the one who got me that Marc Jacobs gig, and she was like, "Listen, I got this gig. I want you to be my assistant." And I was just like,
wow.
I didn't know what to say. I was like, this is Marc Jacobs you're talking about.
Right.
I don't want to mess up in the guy's shoes.
Right.
And she believed in me. She believed in me. And that was when someone believes in you and pushes you, for greatness, that is like the best gift that you can give to anyone.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's really important.
Absolutely. That I love that, and I love that you said that. And I just have a couple of questions before I let you go. I don't want to keep you all night because I could. How do you define success? What does success look like for you?
Well, you know what? To be honest, success to me is what you define to be success. And whatever your goals are, and however you reach those goals, and if you feel successful with the goals that you have in mind, then to me that's success. A lot of people tell you, well, success for me, I want to be rich, and I want to have this car. It's not only, success is not materialistic. Success is, it's something that's personal, is that we hold close and dear to our heart. I have a lot of goals, and of course that's my success, but I don't want to make it, a materialistic thing.
Right.
The materialistic things that we get is a blessing.
Yes.
And we have to always give back and help others. Like that's what I consider success, or to be successful, is to help someone else. That's really important to me.
That's a great definition of success. And lastly, when it's all said and done, what do you want your legacy to be?
I have to agree with you with your last podcast about your legacy, and and what you want people to remember you by. I think that really touched me when you had that podcast last.
Right.
And I want my legacy to be, someone that, or people can remember that I was someone that always gave back, who someone could always depend on. If someone needed anything, I would try. If I couldn't do it, at least that I would try, or that that I would have your back, or I would call you when I said I called you. That to to me is the number one thing that I want people to remember me by, like my legacy.
Well, that's a great legacy to have, and I think that you're well on your way. Thank you for joining me tonight and for engaging with me this conversation. It was awesome. And I know that it was a pleasure. I know my listeners got a lot out of this conversation. Thank you for being so candid, and I hope to have you back on, sometime in the future.
Yeah, I would love to be on. And just to let you know, Zen Paradise Spa. They can always check me out at zenparadisespa.com.
Yes.
I'm available for weddings. I'm available for if you're having a fundraiser, if you're having some sort of event that, community event, I'm available. And also my the product that I use is for, it's a very, very healthy and alternative to a lot of, it's less chemicals, no chemicals. All the products that I use, it's vegan or natural.
Great. And where can people reach you at? How can they connect with you?
They can email me at J.Core at zenparadisespa.com or my Instagram. Oh my God, I forgot the name of my Instagram, but they can always hit me up on Instagram.
Zen Nail Spa, I think, is your Instagram.
Zen Nail, yeah. I
Paradise.
Forget that.
Hold on. We're going to...
But I always forget about that. Yes, it's Zen Nail Paradise.
Yes, that's what it is. Zen and Nail Paradise. Check him out, people. Yes, he's amazing. You see, he's really down to earth. I mean, and who would not want him to do their nails? I mean, this is like having your BFF do your nails. So definitely reach out to Joseph, hire him for your events, and refer him. And Yelp him, but give him a good Yelp. Not a bad one.
Please.
All right, Joseph. So thank you again so much, and we will be talking soon, honey.
Yes, thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good night, babe.
All right, you too.
So that ends this week's episode of the Empowerment Hour podcast. I want to thank you all again and always for rocking with me, for tuning in, for all the feedback. You guys are amazing. I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. And please reach out to Joseph if you need to get your nails done or if you need to hire him for an event. And shoot me some comments. Shoot me a DM. Let me know if this episode was helpful for you, if you learned anything from it, if he said anything that kind of sparked your brain and you were like, yes, honey, yes. All of that. I want to know it. But until next time, mi gente, go out there this week and crush some goals.